thank you so much for being with us here. I'm hoping to have more people on the panel today, so we can discuss some of the things that are coming out of Zimbabwe as we go. Let me also, Sally, would you like to greet our listeners there?
Good evening, DJ Sodza. Good evening, my Sekuru. And good evening, everybody. I hope that you are well, and I hope that you have had or are having a fantastic day. And those in Cape Town, mind the wind. Be careful of your wigs. They're going to get blown off. The wind is very strong tonight.
Right, okay, thank you so much. That's a warning there from Sari. Seguru maswera seiku.
Yaswera mzukuru wangu maswera seiku. Watanga kudzima dzima manje.
Seguru.
Ndiwe uri kutokonya peno zvauri kutokonya kuti chimboenda chodzoka chienda chodzoka.
Aiwa, handisi kutokonya anything. Ndikati my heaters enye ari on here, it's going to be frozen tonight.
Machi?
Ndikati my heaters enye ari on here, is your central heating on, Sekuru?
Ndatovesa moto wemarai.
Okay. That's very good. Yeah. Just make sure you don't burn the house. Alright. Chief, so
Magadi DJ.
Tinofara chose kuri sei kunobve.
Kuno kuti nacho chando kuno.
Anditika. Are you waiting for the inauguration of the 45th president?
Takutomfarira.
I'm told he's gonna share the wealth with the nation.
If you can't beat them, join them.
Yes.
Have you bought your dress for the inauguration yet?
Sorry. Don't mind me. I was so disappointed with him that, even now I cannot do anything but to just go with the flow. But I'm still very disappointed.
Because the day before yesterday, he declared that all the dresses in Washington, D.C. were bought up. The dress shops were all empty. So Whoopi Goldberg said, hey, I'm sure we can find him a dress and send it to him.
Yeah, we have just decided to watch him, but we know he's not going to make the 4 years. He's going to be impeached. He's going to do something really stupid.
He's going to make 8 years. Watch.
I hope not. I hope not.
Hey, please, while we're all laughing at America, Africa is getting a rest, okay?
Fine. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. There's quite a lot of things that are happening in Zimbabwe. In actual fact, there's some. Anyway, there's something that I saw. My Facebook, my Twitter, and all the like. That my school fees for Zimbabwe, the school fees were hiked. So bad that some parents really cannot even afford to send their children to school now. I don't know what the government are doing about that in terms of trying to help those that cannot afford to send children to school. One wonders, okay. Right. All right. Anyhow, Sekuru mainzwa ere nyaya iri kuZimbabwe yevana vasikukwanisa kuenda kuchikoro nekuda kwekuti ma school fees akahaikwa this January.
Ndangonzwa minister wema veterans achiti musadzinga vana vema veterans tiri kugadzira mari ye-school fees dzavo.
Okay.
Handakunzwa zvekuti vana vari kuta In fact, all the contract that don't go to a bond paper. And now going to school, I go under Udariga Wagango. No double shake of women.
Okay.
She knows I just have no good over Nemuro Armaco egg. Also, this is the chocolate charging.
Kuti chokwadi chacho chaicho chakamira sei manje baba?
Chatangonzwa ndechekuti ministry inobhadharira vana vemawo veterans yatadza kubhabhadharira mari yacho. Yanga ichitokupira maheadmaster kuti kwete musadzinga vana vemawo veterans tiri kugadzira. Hazine chikwereti chingati 7 million. Apeno kuti vana vechikoro vanganiwa mawo veterans anoita vana vanoita 7 million chikwereti. Apeno kuti ndiche makore mangani.
Anyhow, Sekuru, thank you so much. Sally, what do you say about that?
The school fee hike. I didn't know about the school fee hike, but I've been very, very busy. But I do know that in Mucheke High, where my sister is, she's ended up with 3 classes of Form 2s, I think it is. That's 60 pupils per class, and 4 classes of Form 4s, 60 kids per class. So, I mean, I don't know. They might have hiked the school fees, but I don't know. I don't know how my sister's going to cope. She's beside herself at the moment.
Right. Okay.
Because I mean, it's ridiculous. You see, they've cut back the teachers so much, okay? And now the kids are actually paying the price, because she said you can't teach so many children. What ends up happening is the ones that are able to cope are the ones that get through, and the ones that are falling behind, which normally she'd be able to tutor and pay more attention to, she can't. So, I mean, it's, I don't know, it's just a mess. I mean, at one stage, she was teaching and they had one book, okay, you know, a textbook, okay? They had one book between, I think it was about 20 children. I mean, it's ridiculous. The whole thing is just a mess. It's just a complete and utter mess. If they put up school fees, I don't know. The only people that are going to suffer are the children. Okay, I mean, and it's the poor, the children, the children of the poor, not the children of the elite. Children of the elite are sitting here in universities here in Cape Town, in Josie, in all over the place, Fort Hare, all over the place, overseas, all everywhere. There are plenty of them in Canada, plenty of them in the UK, China. Okay, it's just the poor children that are suffering, and it's pathetic, absolutely pathetic. I mean, anyway, I don't know. Are we going to end up with generations of children that are just half educated?
Okay.
Or some of them won't even be educated.
Yeah, they wouldn't be.
I mean, what kind of nonsense is that?
All right, Sally, thank you so much. Chief Sodza, did you hear the news? There's quite a lot of problems in terms of some of the schools. I know there's a lot of private schools now in Zimbabwe there, and I'm told that the prices have been hiked for school fees, and people are struggling. Do you know anything about it?
To be honest with you, I didn't hear anything about that. But if it did happen, then that would be very insensitive. Now we are saying it's the private schools. If it is the private schools, then yeah, it's very insensitive of the owners of those schools to be doing that, because I mean, they know the situation in our country. People are not working. People don't have jobs. People cannot afford, even a basic meal. and then you have private schools who are already expensive, rising, hiking up fees. That's very unfortunate, and that's very unfair. And if the government schools haven't been increased, then we definitely will see in the next few days, weeks, the government intervening and telling those people to lower the prices. I've seen it happening before, that the government actually intervenes and tell the people who have those private schools to reduce their prices, because it's insensitive.
All right. Thank you so much. What did you say?
That's what DJ Sodza.
That's it. Sorry, I was having the same problem there. I couldn't take your call, but I managed to just add you on the side.
Okay, thank you very much.
There's a big issue I want to talk about. Data bundles that we are hearing that they were hiked, yesterday and tonight. We are hearing some breaking news that Superman Doanzira is alleged to have said that actually no. We've spoken with Echonet and all that, so the price should go back to where they are. So there's confusion there. But there is a controversial thing that was coming out of MDC, according to these hikes. It must be said, exorbitant prices that people were about to pay in purchasing data from Echonet and all the like. But I just want you to comment on my school fees. Do you know anything about it, that my school fees are high, especially my private schools there in Zimbabwe? Many people cannot afford. Is it news to you?
No, I didn't come across the news, although I'm not surprised, because I think Zimbabwe, we need to change the mindset. If you look at it, I mean, we are the only country in Africa which has a US dollar, and it's a stable currency. What can justify an exorbitant increment of any commodity US dollar when the US dollar has been a stable currency globally?
Yeah.
That's where the problem is, and I think that is not peculiar to my businesses. If you go to Zimbabwe, those with money, the way they use the US dollar, they use it like a Zimbabwean dollar. Somebody are going to buy 1,000 US dollar or 2,000 US dollar. Just splashing like that. That mentality of a currency to trillion has not actually departed in the heads of the Zimbabweans. And I mean, there is no need whatsoever for a US dollar-driven economy to increase such, whether we are talking about the tariffs, we are talking about commodities, by any means more than 1%. So that's my analysis, although I'm yet to get to the bottom of my school fees as to at what extent have they increased, and by what margin.
By what margin? Anyway, Muchiri Papo Wapeve, would you like to tell us what is actually happened on these bundles that we suddenly heard that the bundles have been hiked? I was scrambling this afternoon, trying to find out how much, and trying to get the sense from people in Zimbabwe. And I was given some figures which, I couldn't even contemplate with a hike so much. It's like telling people you are not allowed to buy these data bundles anymore.
Yeah, I think there is confusion. That confusion not only Kunema consumers, there is confusion in the service providers themselves, Echonet, Telcel, Net1. There is confusion in Portras itself. There is confusion in the government itself, that policies, or that actually sort of controls my policies with regard to Nyaema tariffs. But what I've gathered so far is that the initial phase was a noble one. in the sense you could see they were a bit the tariffs were controlled, and that process of control also it does not only lie within internal environment of Zimbabwe, but also at a global node, because Zimbabwe is interconnected from outside world, and they by optic fibers, etc., and they also have to pay. So the government, porters, and the service providers wanted sort of to innovate, to change the type of setting Yema tariffs so that it is consumer driven. In other words, from a prescribed tariff to a consumer driven tariff, or call it consumer driven economy. In other words, there would be spikes in terms of the prices, Yema bundles, depending on actually consumer demand, etc. There's nothing wrong with that. But however, there was a collusion where Echonet, Telecel, Net1, they then met to fix the prices. At the end of the day, there's no competition. But even though the agreed tariff was 5 cents per megabyte bundle, which but again, that is an increment, because I think it was around 2 cents, 3 cents before. That was an increment in itself. But however, we then saw that the Echonet or the service providers, I'm yet to find out what Net1 and Telecel is charging, but Echonet, instead of the 5 cents per megabyte bundle of data that was agreed in that meeting, it is now charging 10 cents, which is 100% increment. Okay, from the agreed price of the service providers. And nowhere else in the world that you get service providers under one roof agreeing on a price. Why should they do that? They are competitors.
They should be competitors, isn't it?
Indeed, but I see the hand of the government in it, because if you look at it, Telecel and Net1, the government have got a stake in those, and they are trying to destroy competition as far as from Echonet is concerned. So now the consumers are going to be against Echonet, in the sense that we, the consumers, we see Echonet as colluding with the government to stifle communication capability, or disabling communication within, the generality of the people of Zimbabwe. Especially the timing is wrong for 27 when we are going towards 2018. Now, if Echonet is going to charge the same price like Telecel, like Echonet, then we've got a problem with Echonet. Then we've got a problem with the whole system. We would want a situation whereby there's competition.
Okay.
That drives demand. And then consumers can move between service providers.
Between service providers. Okay, thank you so much, Vapepe. Vamoyo maswera sei mamuka sei ku Australia.
Tamuka kana maswerawo makorogote goredra.
Thank you so much. Where were you? Did you go to Zimbabwe to have a nice Christmas and holiday with family and friends?
I went.
Or maybe you met the president in Dubai or somewhere like that?
Yeah, I passed you through, and I did pass your warmest greetings to him.
Thank you so much.
On my way. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Vamoyo, have you heard about the hiking of the data purchasing in Zimbabwe there?
Yes, I heard about that.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about that.
A fair deal, you think, to the consumers?
No, not a fair deal, which is the reason why the government intervened and reversed all those, so they are now null and void. And the VAPEV is at his best offside as usual. The Echonet is a private entity, and to assume that government would be colluding with Echonet, then I think he is way offside.
No, sorry, DJ. Can I just correct that? I didn't say government. I said the collusion is between the service providers, not government.
I'm only commenting on your statements.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I wanted to point out in there, the biggest problem that we have in Zimbabwe is the business ethics of the corporate entities themselves. That is the biggest problem. It's not government policy, no. It is the business ethics. And this idea of supposed to be competitors coming together and connive against consumers, this has been the trend ever since. From the time pachitwa food riots, remember 1998, 97, 98, we had Mamilas. Remember Kawakuinana, Red Seal, Blue Ribbon, and all that. And vachikwidza the prices of their commodities on the same day by the same amount. The problem is we have very few service providers who can very easily conspire against the general populace of the country. And because of that, it means there is no competition whatsoever, which leaves the consumer very vulnerable. And this is just a continuation of atrocious business attitude by the business community in Zimbabwe itself, which is the problem. So, in this case, the service providers who are supposed to be competitors and are accomplices in this regard, yes, they hiked the tariffs and the government shut it down and the tariffs were reversed. Going to the increase YEMA fees, again, it is the same thing. But in this case, we are talking about private schools.
Yeah.
But private school is a private school. That is what it is. It will be imprudent and inappropriate for the government to intervene in the runnings of private schools. And remember, private schools are voluntary, and people who go there, they should know that they are going into somebody's private business. And it's either you comply with the rules or you ship out. So yes, by being there, it means they have to comply. Kana akati ndakwidza akati ndadzikisa akati ndakufundisai mahara ari kuita zvaanoda nebusiness rake, and government must not intervene.
Okay.
And it is supposed to be dealing with the schools where the majority of the population go. That is government schools and the rest of other schools which are not private. So private schools are private schools. Those ones must be left alone and run as they please, because people go there by choice. It's not that they know they have no option.
Yeah, I know. Vamoyo, they go there. They go there by choice. But if I'm sending Manongu kundotanga grade 1 and the class has got 75 pupils, I mean, and one teacher, that can be right, can it?
I'm very much doubtful there's a situation like that. And in any case, I wonder if there is a classroom that would accommodate 70 students in one class. I think it's a bit of exaggeration there.
Okay, thanks.
And I
thanks so much.
Sally, set up like that in Zimbabwe.
Sally, you can help us. Sally, you can help us. Yeah, your sister is a teacher, isn't it? There.
Yeah, she's been a teacher at the Macheki High in Masungo for about 30 years.
Yeah.
And she is dealing with classes of 60 children.
Yeah.
Okay? She's got two, I think it's it's Form 3. two classes of 60 children each, and 3 Form 3 classes of 60 children each. That is her allocation for this new term.
No, that's what I'm saying, Sally. The choice is you send or you send your kid there. Do you think that kid is gonna get anything?
How can they?
No.
I mean, she is a dedicated teacher. That is her lot in life, okay? And it breaks her heart. She works herself up into such a state that she ends up sick, okay? Because the children that can handle it, okay, the bright children, they sail through. The middle ones, okay, they mess around a little bit, but they get through. The ones that need her attention, that she normally, okay, I'm talking about 3-4 years ago, when she had the time and the capacity was a lot less, okay, she could kind of concentrate on the children that were suffering, okay, and she'd end up tutoring them for free, okay, so after school. I mean, sometimes she wasn't coming home till 8-9 o'clock at night from 6 o'clock in the morning, okay? Now she can't do that anymore because she doesn't have the time. The capacity of the classroom is absolutely astronomical, okay? I mean, she'll start at 6 o'clock in the morning and finish, okay, at 5-6 o'clock at night. Classes are divided. I mean, it's a mess. She's having problems with textbooks because there aren't enough textbooks. I mean, last year, I think it was, last year, she was complaining because she had one textbook between 20 children.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
sorry.
I won't even ask her. So, I mean, Moyo's business of, oh, well, blah, 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 okay, I disregard it completely.
No, sorry.
Because I'm talking to somebody on the ground.
Yes, Sally, what I wanted to say is why I've come to you to ask you that is, you know, I know Amoye is saying that people will send their children to private school at their own wish. But I'm thinking here, I don't think it is their wish. If my child is going to a 60 pupil class with one teacher and the private is offering 25 pupils with one teacher, I would like my children to go there because I know that he or she is going to perform better in that class because the teacher will have, you know, can look after them properly. This is why I'm saying, Moyo, it's not just a matter of sweeping these things under the carpet and say, well, the government is in the clear, people choose where they want to go. There is a problem on the ground. Yes.
Ngoma Sodza, ndinonzwisisa chaizvo zvamuri kutaura. Asika tisakanganwe kuti the education system in Zimbabwe kune what they call a teacher-pupil ratio. And this ratio for a long time has been between 30 and 40. And for it to go to 60, it means that ratio has been halved. Kuti izvo zvipange paine 60. In fact, it's more than 60 per teacher, because she is talking of a number of streams, each one with that number.
60 kids. Yes.
Yes, this is what I'm saying, and it means the teacher-pupil ratio has been greatly affected, and I don't think that is the case. And what I can do is I can actually find out.
So you're saying that
a liar,
you're saying that Sally is not telling the truth here.
The majority of the things that are submitted here, most of it is pure fabrication, which has nothing to do with reality on the ground.
Moyo,
this is what I'm saying.
It's true. That's it. For me, that's it.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I can actually find out, and I can
I
give
spoke
you
to
more.
a teacher in Mucheke High in Masungo. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, there are more than.
Sodza, can I just pose the one question?
That's it. Moyo, to me, you are finished. I will never answer you or anything again. I will ignore you. You're calling me a liar. Sorry.
Sorry,
No, I didn't.
I wanted to ask you a question, Ramoy, Kuti. The current situation in government, with financial resources, in a capacity of recruiting more teachers.
In fact, the information on the ground now is that they are looking for 10,000 maths and science teachers right now as we speak.
What? Do they have the money? They can't even pay the few that they are there.
Well, they are trying to fire the teachers.
I know, Moyo.
Ages 40 and 50.
You are talking about your brother's approach, isn't it? Which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is STEM. And the other side, Moyo, has been actually trying to peddle this vehicle of turning around the economy through science, technology, and engineering, STEM, borrowing it from the West, right? But this is why they are trying. That is a wishful thinking. They don't have the funds even to pay the few teachers that are there. That salary.
Yes.
So
yes, I fully.
How?
No, I fully agree with you. But are you aware that towards the middle of last year they actually recruited about 5,000 soldiers? Are you aware? That has already been done.
We've listened
So
to better
if
music.
they can
We
do
have
that,
seen better things.
why can't
We've
they
been to it
recruit
all.
teachers as
Zimnet
well?
Radio.
Yeah, but
all
you
the
know
way.
the reason is why they recruit.
Oh, but they have capacity. The reasons are something else.
Yes, it's not that.
Email marketing@zimnetradio.com.
Not that they've got the capacity, but the government itself, right, has been sensitizing security. And this is why even other sectors, civil servants might not get paid, but the army would get paid.
Right. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. Let's have a. Okay, guys. Okay. Going to bati murume ipapo. Mukoma will bet masera sego.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just listening.
You see, it is very interesting, isn't it, Mkoma Wilpet? I'm just wondering here. Inina Anguga, I have got sources in Zimbabwe telling me how the private schools, because, I don't know how often you guys go to Zimbabwe there and see the situation on the ground. I know some people just talk in the comfort of their homes in a diaspora. They don't know what's actually on the ground. A lot of people are sending, and it's a big booming business to open a private school now in Zimbabwe. A lot of parents are resorting to send their children to private schools because that's where the top class teachers are going, because one, they will be paid a little bit more than the government teachers are paid. Number two, they will be teaching 20 pupils up to 30 pupils only, as compared to the government schools where they have 60 plus in a class. So it is very lucrative for both the parents and the teachers to go in the private sector, to teach. Yeah. But I'm just intrigued. Sorry. One more.
Okay.
Now, Mkoma Wilbert, ndo nyaya yati kufamba nayo nhasi dziri mbiri nemadata bundles. What's your take mimi nenyaya yezvikoro zvevana and the hiking of this private sector? Are you with Wamoyo pakuti, right, you put mwana wako private sector into Tayazibonera, you chose to do that. If you don't want to do that, come kwedu kumbombera and mwana wako will go there.
I think the reason why the number of private schools are increasing is that the government-run schools, the quality of education has been going down and down and down. What Sally is talking about it's been happening soon after independence, where even some of the good schools, you find they were asked to take on not what sitting. where there are some kids who come in the morning, some in the afternoon. And you find those schools now are in such a poor state that honestly, the parents are saying, well, I mean, if we send him to that school, we know at the end of the day he's not going to learn anything. I mean, Charlie is talking of not only the number of students in the class have increased, the services itself. You find some of them, even places like university. I knew somebody who was a lecturer in law at the University of Zimbabwe, and we're talking about this very issue. And we're saying you find the library itself, there's no books, the photocopier was not working, and if you want to give a lecture to students and ask them to go and do a follow-up research, there are no books there. How are they going to do the research? So the quality of public education has gone down. There cannot be any debate about it. And even Jonathan Moyo has admitted that some of the, even from these colleges and universities, they graduate, but they are the quality of the student is so poor that some of them, you find, has done a doctorate. Forget the ones who do that doctorate in 3 months, but those who do it in even in 3 years or 2 years, and you ask him to write a report, and the report is full of spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes, and so forth. You say to yourself, this is most unfortunate. I think in this particular case, it is a pity that we have now invested so much resources in the education of the children, and then you find at the end of the day, the quality of education they have got is so substandard that you honestly say, well, what's the point? We're wasting resources here.
Wasting resources, no. Mukoma Wilbert, I mean, do you sympathize with parents that are working their skin out to try and put Wanawaro in these private sectors? Kana kuti you say kuti no, they are showing off, they shouldn't do that, they should go to the government schools, like what Wamo is saying, kuti, it's a choice, isn't it? It's a choice.
If you are a parent and you can afford it, you want to give your child the best you can. And education has always been accepted as, if you want to give your child a good start, send them to school. And that has been accepted, and I think that is to be applauded to everyone who has embraced that. But in this particular case, when you're given the hard choice of the public school, which you can afford, the quality of education has gone down so much that honestly, you're forced to go to the private school. Right. That is the tragedy. That is the tragedy. And I do not think if I had the parent, and even if I can't afford it, I'll try my best to try to give my child a good start. I think that is a natural thing to do, and I applaud those parents who are doing it and making that extra sacrifice. But the point here is that no one should have to be given such hard choices. And even those teachers, like what Sal is talking about there, some of the teachers are really dedicated, they really are committed, they really love their jobs, they really love the kids, and they really would like to help. But if you're confronted with a situation where the classroom is 60 students, whether you like it or not, you cannot give those 60 children a quality education. That is a fact. And that is what is so unacceptable with our system now.
Aiwa. Thank you so much, Mukoma Wilbert. Chief Sose, can I come to you there? And also pose the same question to you, that what do you think here? Do you sympathize with these parents? Kana kuti really, I mean, if zvikoro zviripo zve-freebie kana kuti zviri cheaper, they should go there rather than kuti sembura kuti mari yazokwidzwa ku private, because it's a private.
Yeah, it's I'll talk as a teacher myself.
Okay.
In Zimbabwe, South Africa, Botswana, and the US. And it's unfortunate that I'm going to seem like I'm agreeing with Mr. Moyo, which pains me very much. Yeah, the truth here is, we have two types of private schools in Zimbabwe. There are those private schools like Eaglesville, St. John's. Those are traditional private schools that we had when we were growing up. And then there are also some private schools that have mushroomed everywhere in Harare. Some are even doing backyard schools, and they are still being called private schools. And parents are sending their schools there, their children there. And unfortunately, I must say, I don't sympathize with those parents who are sending their children to those backyard private schools, to those schools that are not up to standard, to those private schools that don't even have sports programs within them. It's just classrooms, built here and there, and that's it, and then it's called a private school. I unfortunately don't sympathize with those parents. Why do I say that? In Zimbabwe, we have a good education system. We can take away anything that we want to take from what the government has done. We have to be objective here. But we do have a choice. Parents do have a wide choice in as far as education is concerned. We cannot talk just about the high schools in the high density suburbs where the teacher-people ratio, as other people have been saying, that it's now as high as 1:60. I'm not saying it's not true. There are some schools which are like that, but talking to fellow teachers on WhatsApp group that I am with other teachers, I still think and I still believe I've had ratios of between 1:30 to 1:45, teacher-people ratio in those public schools. But then we also have boarding schools, very well-run boarding schools, missionary boarding schools that are there in Zimbabwe, that are not as expensive as private schools, but that are still offering very good education. My son is at Tegwane Mission in Plumtree. My other son finished a Tegwane Mission as well last year, and he's now here and he has qualified for university. He passed very well. Those boarding schools are still doing a very good job. And I'm paying $600 at Tegwane Secondary. And I don't see why some parents would choose, this is a choice, they would choose to take their parents, to take their children to those private schools. Yes, those who do choose to take their children to schools like Eaglesville, they're doing it at their own choice, definitely, because those schools are very expensive. You have to be prepared, to pump up the money if they increase the fees. But like I'm saying, we still have good boarding schools, Wadlaf, Kutama, name them. They're very good schools that you can still take your child to, and you can still get a very good, not very good, but a decent education. So I'm sorry to say that.
But do you think the state of our government schools in Zimbabwe are good at the moment?
They are not as good as they should be. But with due respect, there is someone who said the teachers, in private schools are the top-notch teachers. Yes, they are good teachers there in private schools. But let's remember, we have teachers' colleges in Zimbabwe. Every teacher who is teaching in most of the schools in urban areas right now is a qualified teacher who is coming from a 3-year college, who has graduated. So that teacher is qualified to teach. Unless we are now going back to our colleges and saying our colleges are not producing good teachers. But in as far as qualified teachers are concerned, the same teachers who are teaching in Zwarasekwa, Wombare, or wherever, are still the same teachers that you are going to find in some of these private schools, the group of private schools that I was talking about, the ones who are, backyard private schools. Those are still the same teachers who are coming from those colleges. Yes, we do have graduate teachers. So the difference is very minimal when it comes to teachers. And of course, you can also talk about the availability of books, materials, and stuff like that. Definitely, we have challenges in that. We don't have as much material and as much books as we should have in our schools. But again, like I said, we do have a choice of taking our children away from those public schools that don't have enough materials and take them to the government, to the boarding schools, missionary boarding schools. Even some government boarding schools are still doing a good job.
A good job. Okay. Thank you so much, Chief Sose. Sekuru Murwins Bangairi Mudarire Sekuru. Any comments on that? And maybe some examples that you know? Sekuru, are you still there?
Sekuru vadagwa.
All right. Okay. Regaitende pana Mukanya.
Ndaida kuresponda. Oh, okay.
Mukanya muriko era uko kana kuti makumbomwa chingotona Sekuru kuseru.
Aiwa, ndiri panapa.
Oh, okay. Ndafunga kuti pamwe majoina Sekuru in the background.
Vazvangu nakavuri kurwa kukorora Sekuru ndikuropa vanhu.
Mukanya titaurire tinzwe, you went to state of art schools in Zimbabwe, Imimi. This is the situation where we are told that my parents, they are resorting to put Wanawawo in these Chief Sose is saying they are backdoor private schools, and they think their children has got better chance in those schools than kuaendesa kuma government schools around them, especially my locations Mararo Munana Chitungizo. The schools, the quality is very low, and you are now wakawandisa my classrooms. So imimi wa Mukanya, do you sympathize nevano vari nonga sosve nemuromo kuti vaendese vana vavo ku private school, kana kuti really it is a choice that parents have to make and we shouldn't be talking about it?
Unoziva DJ Sodza kubva pasi chigare akanga iri nhaka yedu yechivanhu. Saka investment yataipiwa isusu tichienda kuchikoro, vabereki vainda kunoita maricho vachirunzira, vamwe vachitengesa mombe kusara mudanga musina chinhu, iwe uchiindiswa kuboarding school. I will not blame vabereki. Chief Soseza ari kutaura zvake anonakirwa nekutaura, but haazive decision why vabereki ivavo vachiita come up to those decisions. Each individual parent ane zvaanotanga aongorora. Don't forget kuti even nguva yekuma early late 70s uku, even kuma 60s uku, kwakatanga zvikoro zvaitangwa nevanhu kunana Mufakosi. Vana Mugabe vakatomborana zvikoro izvozvo, vana Kanobereka, vanani, kusvika kunana Nyatsime college yakatangwa private school nana Samukange. Mukomana anonzi aimba Sereka anonzi aniko Louis Armstrong akatouya kuzoparticipate kufundraiser to build Nyatsime college. Saka point yandiri kutaura ndeyekuti vabereki vanoda zvikuru to give the best kuvana vavo. Munomu panapa pandigere kune chikoro chiri not very far from me. Can you guess how much it costs kuendesa mwana kuchikoro ichiko?
Free of charge?
40,000 ku high school. Varungu nevatema vari kuendesa muno muCanada muno kune free education handed. But if you see now at the end of the day, vana ivavo vanenge vaenda kuzvikoro zvandiri kutaura izvozvo zvima-special schools, vana St. Paul muno muCanada muno, vanenge vatone network, vanobva ipapo vano network, ndo vanotonga nyika vana ivavo. Saka chero vamwe vavo zvavo vakasainda kumberi, but vanenge vane network, vana vema-lawyers, vana vema-doctors, vana vechingi. There will be always a group of people vanoda kuti vana vavo vanenge vari always step ahead. Ava vanenge vakaenda kuma-boarding school, ngatirege kufanganidza nema-boarding school atakaenda kuZimbabwe, because those standards dzakachina dzakasiyana, and it was even difficult kupinda maboarding schools makore akapera. Waitonyora I mean, you had to really do well. And vaikosarudza vanhu vashoma, they didn't care about rudende rwesoul. And if you look at those people who are boarding schools, most of them very successful, very whatever. Saka vabereka decision yavari kuita vaisi base yekuona kuti mwana wangu inini akaenda panhingira pakuwadzana hai apa painambo chekuti aende ku Peterhouse kana kuti Watershed kana ikoko izvo indine mari ndoendesa mwana wangu kwandoona kuirai. As far as I'm concerned, to me, I will pay anything for my child to get the best education she or he can have, because ndona kandinayo. That's ndona kandinayo imwe ndoza kuti this is assured. Saka I wouldn't blame vabereki ivava. The only problem yandongori nayo ndeyekuti isusu vanhu vatema kati kaona zvikoro zvoenda varungu ndokwatomhanya kunobhadhara. Why can't we build our own best schools toisa vana vedu to our own best schools dzechimita mastandards? Munomu vanozviita vane mari vakaona kuti zvikoro zviri kunedza ngativakei the best school yedu. Unobva wangoona kuti vanobva vangodzidzisa vana varombo, ongoona kuti vana varombo vari kuenda kupublic school. And you see a lot indainga kuti muno Canada tine public school free education kubva ku grade 1 anyway is not free because ukataramba zvavanenge uchibhadharai pano nepapapo. But at the end of the day, vane vana vavo vanoenda kuma top notch schools, and those top notch schools vana ivavo they are always ahead. Ndo vanoita maengineering, ndo vanoita chichi. So there's nothing wrong with that. Kana wine mari yacho, go ahead and do it. Even you can sacrifice, but I wouldn't blame them for that.
Okay.
And people mention as Tarangwa. Mention as Tarangwa.
Respond I
Right. Sekuru mkanya vari kutaura zvehistory yanyaitin Gochanhembe. It's unfortunate. I'm commenting as a not only as a teacher. Let me finish. Then kana kumbira mkana mozo kumbira mkana. I'm talking as a teacher, and I'm also talking as a parent. I'm talking as a parent. Ane mwana ari paTegwane right now. Ane mwana akapedza paTegwane last year. Ane mwana akapedza paChemanza primary secondary school kuwedza 2 years ago. I had that choice, and I could afford, if I wanted to take my child to a private school. But I saw it fit, and I saw it necessary, and I thought it was better, and I thought my children were going to get a better education in those boarding schools. So I'm saying here, the parents have a choice. And if you can afford to take your child to Igusville, that's fine. I'm not blaming that because he can afford to. The problem only comes when you can't afford. Then you still have a choice to pull your child and take him to a school where you afford. Because we have those schools where you can still take your child. It's like the time we grew up in Zimbabwe, we had people parents were taking their children to colleges in town. Remember, there were those colleges, Ana Spaces, Ana Crescent, Anani. It was the choice of the parents to take their children there, even though those colleges were very expensive. And Karamanaka, Zimbabwe, do you blame anyone? And then people are talking about the teacher-people ratio in those private schools. Some of these private schools, like I said, the teacher-people ratio is down by default. They have 6 children in a class or 10 children in a class because the children don't go there. The parents don't take their children there because the standards are low.
Or because it's
DJ Sodza, hatisi kutaura zvinhu zvaGochanhembe 2000 zviri kutoitika kana muno munyika yatiri jeri ino.
Ipi Koma Sodza, handisati ndarespondawo inini mukoma kana kuti handichabvumirwa.
Okay, responda izve.
Yeah. Chekutanga ndanga ndichida responda kuna Sally kuti anga achiti inini ndiri kutaura nhema. Ko this other contributor, Chief Swashe, he is talking from the position of a teacher as well as a parent. And the figures andanga ndichitaura nemafigures avari kutaura is exactly the same figures. Saka handizive kuti achiri kuzviona sei ndo chinhu chekutanga. chinhu chechipiri ndaida kuresponda kuna vasvosve vanga vachiti he has been forced to agree with me against his will. ndaida kungova reminder kuti it doesn't matter how dark the night appears, it can only end but with dawn. So I am glad that dawn has arrived. And then finally,
no, don't take it that way.
Finally, no, it's okay. It's
Moyo.
okay. And then finally,
Moyo.
I wanted to.
I'm not interested what you want. You called me a liar, okay?
I didn't specify.
You called me a liar, Moyo.
Ninge.
You called me a liar.
Yeah, no,
okay.
We'll address it.
Would you like me? What would you like me to do to prove that I'm not lying? You want me to pay for my sister to come here to speak on Skype so that you listen?
Okay, Sally.
No, Moyo, I'm sorry. I will never, ever respect you, have anything to do with you again. I'm sorry.
I think hold on a second.
Point again.
I think hold on. I think, Sally, what has happened is, I think, Vamoyo, you might need to maybe apologize to Sally, because what's happened is, Sally has got someone who is at a school right now, who is seeing this firsthand. But what it might be, Sally, is that I don't think you are lying at all. I don't think you are lying. But what it is I know your sister is a teacher, and I know that. And I've spoken to her. The only problem is, I think, these schools are different. So maybe the school that Sally's sister is teaching, that is what is happening. But you are talking of other schools. I think that's what has happened here. It's just a misunderstanding that just needs polishing up. I don't know, Wamoyo, if that's the correct way to put it.
Yeah, that is what I wanted to address now, Sally.
Not withdraw your words, Mr. Moyo. Just take responsibility and withdraw.
Yeah.
In fact, if I was allowed to speak, that is exactly what I wanted to do. Sally, if you took it personal, I never meant to be personal with you in any way, and I apologize for that. If that is what you took it to be, but that is not what I meant. And I mean, I've been here on many occasions, and I have had many encounters with anybody, and I've never taken anything personal on anybody. So when I was talking of the teacher-pupil ratio, in fact, I even said it is between 30 and 40, although Chief Sodza says between 30 and 45. The figures are almost the same there. But when we give a range, it means there are certain schools that are outside that range. And when we talk of this average, I mean the actual ratio will vary from school to school. And we are talking of the general situation here. This is what I was talking about. I was not talking about your school in particular. Otherwise, if all of them were the same, we could have said the ratio is 30 to is 1 to 30. And I mean, that's why we gave a range, because it's a varied situation. But I have never taken anything personal myself. I have been attacked on many fronts and many times, but I do not take things personal. And if you took it personal, then my apologies for that. I did not mean to attack you, but I never said you were a liar in the first place. I mean, that is something that you created yourself. I didn't say that. But nonetheless, if that is what you felt, my apologies. I am sorry about that. Then going back to our topic today, even this idea that private schools offer the best education, it's a myth. It's not true at all. If we look at the results, remember, with schools, we are talking of primary, that is grade 1 to 7. Then we are talking of high school, form 1 to 4. And then we are talking of form 5 and 6. When you are looking at those schools, Arguma private, if you look at the pass rate, which private school is in the top in terms of the pass rate? Kana mchiti ndokune the best teacher-pupil ratio, and ndokune best teachers, ndokune best facilities. What is their pass rate as compared to the rest of these schools? I don't know if there's anybody with information pana kuti pass rate yavo yakamira sei ikoko kana kuri ndiko kune best facilities. So as far as I am concerned and the information I have, sending mwana ku private school is a status is just symbolic. It's a status symbol. Yekuti, I mean, it feels good with mwana wangu ari ku Eagles Fair kana mwana wangu ari ku this private school, ari ku Falcon or ari ku this school. It's only the status symbol. Not that there's anything special there. If there was anything special educationally or even in terms of my sports, taurai kuti chikoro chakati chakaproduce ma sports persons aya kana kuti ma academics aya or their pass rate is like this. This is the information that matters and not this generalization that we have. It's only the perception kuti ku private school kune good education. It's a perception. What is their pass rate?
Right. So Vamoyo, you're saying that it's not better to send kids to a private school. If a child is bright, they will do well regardless of which school they've gone to.
In fact, kana mwana wako ari bright, kana mwana wako ari real bright, achinyatsokwaniza kuperforma kutomubvisa ku private school kwakuendesa to some of these renowned schools, vana St. Ignatius and many other schools. It's even far better there than some of the so-called private schools. Like I'm saying, the hard question that needs to be answered is what is their pass rate? Which individuals have they produced? In which field? In which discipline? What are we talking about here?
Okay. Thank you so much. Sekuru, are you back with us then? Okay. And you kept quiet there. I thought maybe you were enjoying that stellar tour that you said you're having. Makati?
Andipamba chitaurwa zvisina basa zvekutukana, handina nguva yekuteerera munhu anotukana navamwe.
Ndiani anga ari kutukana nemumwe pano Sekuru?
Moyo nasali vangu vaingokakavadzana zvisina basa. Moyo unogara achingoreva.
Okay. All right.
Sekuru, don't worry.
Okay, don't worry, Sekuru. It's okay. Sekuru, give us. Okay, no. Sekuru, give us your thoughts. Ninge zvikoro kuZimbabwe.
Zvikoro kudikwa. The schools, the private schools can charge whatever they want. That's not a problem.
Right.
But I said to myself, as far as I'm concerned, the issue of who charges what is dependent on the ability of within that country to pay. If your target market is Zimbabwe children, so basically what I'm wondering is how many people can afford to pay for school fees in Zimbabwe at the charges, the rate of charges that I'm hearing, 8,000 per term, without corruption. Because to charge that for 3 months per child, for a person to do that for 3 terms, that is 24,000 a year. No, how much would that person be earning per annum then? If they can afford to pay one child 24,000 every year. So I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's
but I say I'm sure the reason why is
yeah, I think they are paying out of stolen. I think they are paying out of stolen resources. So what we should be discussing is how can Zimura take advantage of these schools and track corrupt people who are paying proper taxes.
Right.
Zimura actually about enjoying when Sekuru, but actually by Zimura food.
Yes, I just got it. I'm trying to have a look here.
Yeah, while you are trying to have a look, let me just, I'm not going to come here and try to agree with the panelists that are here. And I will not come here and just criticize the government where I'm not supposed to criticize it.
Yeah.
You know.
Mukanya, we are having feedback. Mukanya, can you switch off your radio?
Huh?
Mukanya, we are having feedback from you there. Can you switch off? Maybe the radio is on or something is gone wrong there.
Many kata yega. Like maybe shut down and then reboot it.
Yeah, we are hearing feedback there. Chief Sodza and Tumira, a very good list here of all the pass rates of schools here. It's immaculate. Where did you get this from?
I'm a teacher, and I'm talking from my background as a teacher. And it's unfortunate that anasekuru anamkanya vachungoya mentality yekuataka munhu nekuti avamufarire or whatever. I will not come here to agree with Mkanya or anyone on the platform. I will come here to give information to Zimbabweans that I believe is true. And that's exactly what I have done. If you look at that list, DJ, there are no private schools there.
Yeah.
If there are any private schools, they are starting from number 50. That's the pass rate. So, and that's the reason why I was justifying that I send my children to government boarding schools, because I have faith in them. Look at that pass rate. It's coming, most of those schools are government boarding schools, and they're doing very well. So if someone chooses to check a child who equals 24,000 and Kuloma Gundu could 30,000, it's their choice. Because in Zimbabwe we have a wide choice of education. People
and this is Mukanya.
Oh, I'm sorry, I doubt Mukanya.
Koze kuri munogara makavhunduka sei.
Aiwa, ndikugara kuti ko vanhu vanongotagara makatsvaga kuti kutsvaga bonda rokurwa munhu, kuda kutsvaga bonda rokurwa munhu asina chaataura. Uroyi ikaizvo.
I apologize. Kunaida kuti Mukanya.
Alright, ngaiti matambo chitaura aitunzi yamamutaura yamativharira kuti titaure zvataitaura.
Right, anyhow. Yes.
But Chief Sodza. Pazuva ranhasi mungwarire kuti ndingangokusuwai nemacopyright. Ndini ndisapose kunge ndichiita izvo zvamuri kuita izvozvo.
Right. Anyhow, please batai makadaro. Zimbabwe ndizvo zviri kuita pano, kuna vachangoti bata kuti pachirongwa chedefense kona patikurukura zvedu nyaya isusu yekuti kuZimbabwe kuma private schools they are everywhere. Some are even doing a kachikoro pamba pake, and some are doing all these. Some are doing well, these private schools, because the teacher ratio it's low, and some parents are opting to send their kids there, even for primary school as well there. But it's very interesting. Let me see if I can get this caller and hear what they want to say. I know that I shouldn't be doing this, but I'll do it. Hang on a second. Right, let's add this caller and see what they got to say. Let's see if we can add them. Right, let's see. Panelist yandapuwa panapa ka. Hello,
leave your message for 21465.
What is going on? Anyhow, let me call this caller and see if they can answer my phone, because I can't take their call, but I can call them from here. I hope they will answer. I really want to hear from them. Maybe they've got information. I was going to share with you the top 20 of the schools that I've got here. Hello, Pazimnet Radio, Achangoti Bata. Hello?
Hello, DJ.
Yes, welcome to the show, my sister. Where are you calling us from?
I'm Dietrich. I'm calling from Trumpland.
Could you call us with Skype at all?
Oh, okay. Sure. Okay.
Or maybe I will call you using Skype. I've got your Skype. I will call you back now.
Oh, I have to log in. Okay. All
okay.
right.
When you log in, I will see it and I will call you. Right. Anyhow, I wanted to share with you some of the... Let me read this first anyway. Kwanziko DJ, those government schools which are in top 50 whatever, it's Zimsek, which is cheap and low quality. These schools, it's not right. Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Samanyika. That is another issue. Yekuti, some of these schools, Zamandi Paitz, apparently they are writing Zimsek. And Varima private colleges, they are writing Cambridge. You see? So that's where the difference is there.
What difference does it make?
You know what?
What difference does it make? If my child...
Oh, okay, hold on. Sekuru, you want to say something?
You know what? Indonesia good one. Zimbabwe, I know that she's because as far as I'm concerned, the curriculum here, O level, is the Zimsek curriculum. It's that the national curriculum. When you come to other countries, all the Zimbabwean certificate, it will be the Zimsek certificate. When Musakombe and Utakambe Taka colonized by the only curriculum here in Cambridge. What I've discovered is curriculum here in Cambridge, my students are vana vangu vari kuno vakaenda kuZimbabwe kuti vadonyora Zimsek havafasi kana chinhu one. So this then takes me to a point where what exactly are we yawning about? Are we yawning about the quality of education, or are we yawning about the name of the institution, that the brand name of the certificate? Because as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the learning itself, I'm not really convinced that the academic learning in the academic learning in Zimbabwe. When it comes to practicalities, I think the learning in the UK is far ahead of the practical learning in Zimbabwe. So I don't know really, because I can see the difference between the application of my children who live here and the application of my children who live in Zimbabwe. Because I've got two sets, two have done it here, two have done it in Zimbabwe.
In Zimbabwe, right? So yeah. Sekuru, you are alluding to that. Zimsek is even more difficult than Cambridge.
Exactly. In terms of academics, the exam itself is harder than the academic exam they sit here.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I just want to tell people some of the schools that are at the top of the cream, according to this kind of an official list that I've obtained from Chief Source. But before I do that, let me add this color. Right, whilst I'm adding them there, let me Pane Monte Casino Secondary School, 100% pass rate. Christy Mambo is at number 2, 98%. These are all levels. Nyanga High School, number 3, St. Dominic Chishawasha Secondary School with a 96% pass rate. St. David's Bonda Secondary School, Zimbabwe Republic Police, St. Ignatius College, Anderson Secondary School, Regina Mundi Secondary School, Gnostics Academy, John Talak Secondary School, St. Faith Secondary School, Marist Brothers, St. Augustine Penalonga, with 92%, very, very good high, pass rates here. Nyazura Adventist High School, Mazoe High, St. Anthony's High School, Chikwingwija Secondary School. Goodness me, where is this? Goromonza High School with 87%. Marondera High, Sanyati Baptist Secondary School, Hatzel, St. Columba High School, also with 80+. Yeah. Oh, there's quite the list goes on, but these are very nice schools if you want to send your children there. Trish, you're just joining us there. Good evening to you.
Hey, good evening, DJ Sodza. Were you reading O level, or is that A level pass rate?
This is O level pass rate.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to actually give
And it's
you my
2014.
Okay, my perspective as well, because in Nini I experienced both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
From grade 1 to form 4, I attended a government school, and then for my A levels, I went to a private school. So regarding the pass rates, I wanted to mention, the person who mentioned that government schools have high pass rates was very right, because even if you take a look, like grade 7, for example, grade 7, the top 100 schools, you had the likes of Finchley, Ngomahuru, Shashi View, Field Air Base, Eiffel Flats, Centenary Primary, Mutarazi Junior, Furachena Primary. Those were all in the top, and all those have 100% pass rates, which means all the students who took the test passed. And then if you go, that's grade 7. If you go to O level, you have number 1, Monte Cassino Secondary School, which had 100% pass rate.
Yeah.
You have Christian Mambo at number 2, Nyanga High, number 3, St. Dominic's, St. Davis Bonda, Zimbabwe Republic Police High School, St. Ignatius. You have Anderson, which I believe is somewhat of a private school. The only difference is that it's an SDA school. You have Regina Mundi. You have John Talak, St. Faith's, Christian Marist Brothers, St. Augustine, Penalonga, Moleli.
Yeah.
So, kuma government school and unyeprai kunodzidzwa.
But I'm sharing as my government schools. Missionary schools, the majority of them.
Okay, yes, government schools and mission schools. Thank you for correcting me.
Those are missionary schools as my government schools.
My missionary schools.
Yes.
Mambo's notice about 3 at the top. Those are all girls' high school.
Yes.
That also makes a big difference. If it's
Ngoma Sodza.
No, just for English sake. I don't say it mean anything. But go down quickly. There are more girls' high schools. That's interesting.
Okay.
Right. But my point is, yes, mission school, government school, there's a big difference. My mission school, my government schools, no, my private school. That was my point.
So which is better? You're saying that mission schools are the best?
Yes.
Well, in terms of education.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, both my missions. Okay, it's a mission schools, government schools, and private schools. They all have their pros and cons. In anybody,
what the government school you mentioned were Gurumons, which are other one government school?
Moleli is a government school, but
Moleli is not a government school. Moleli is not a government school. My daughter went there. It's a
Zimbabwe Republic Police. All right, Zimbabwe Republic Police School.
That's a private school.
No, I think we are losing focus actually here.
Yeah, okay.
No, that's fine. I think we are losing focus. You see,
so it's my private school. What are the difference between a mission school and a private school? My private school, these are run by things which are by boards which are not government. So missionary schools and the private schools, actually they go together. They are not government schools, both of them.
No, those when I started speaking, I said government schools and missionary schools, and I was saying that for a reason. The same teachers who are teaching at government schools are teachers who are in missionary schools. Those teachers who are in missionary schools are paid by the government in most cases, and even in some private schools, the government also pays a certain percentage of those teachers. So the teachers we're talking about who provide the product, who provide the education, are the same.
So I think my missionary schools right now. My teachers are but one government. On top of that, My mission schools, they are paying their teachers as well on top of that.
Even whatever guys then
so for them to retain find people
zvikoro zvinopuwa a grant nema-teachers ma-missionary schools nema-private schools zvopuwa a ministry grant.
Yes.
But Isuzu, we can only give you this grant, which is the equivalent of what they get at boarding schools, government boarding schools. So if they want to pay their teachers more than that, then they've got to find the source of their own funds. I think that's what it is.
Okay. Usually from school fees. Where they get the money in.
No. I'm sorry.
So we cannot waste our time on that, because all the teachers are employed by the government. In terms of the private schools and missionary schools, they are employed by the government through the grant. In terms of the private schools, then there is a top-up pay that they receive from the collection of fees that are charged, the exorbitant fees that are charged. But the issue is, should private schools charge more than government schools? Yes, they do, because they don't rely on the tax money, on the taxpayers' money only. They also provide the extra factor of facilities that the government schools may not provide.
Yes. Okay. Now, Sekuru. Okay, no. Batai Makadaro. Okay. Pane vari kunyora panapa kuti hanzi DJ, I have been intrigued with people saying that Zimsek is far better than Cambridge. I think this one do not believe in that. He's saying that, guys, do not go further, because Zimsek is leaked every time. So it loses its, it loses its because
credibility.
It's credibility, because every year now these examinations are being leaked, and we hear it in media that so how confident are we with this? Well, I don't know. When was it ever leaked?
We can talk of credibility. I don't know what people of Zimbabwe want. If my child, who was at Tegwane last year and did his O-levels, got his 7 A's, and he came here and went straight into university, after they evaluated his grades, and they said he qualifies to go into an American university, what's wrong with that?
I don't think that
he did O-level and he went straight to university in the United States.
Oh yes, you go straight into university here.
But when he went into university, where did he? Here's what they do over here. You might be admitted to university, but you're not going to start at the level that you're supposed to start. They will put you way below where you're taking like these elementary classes. So being admitted into the university does not mean that you're already starting your college level classes. English 1, English 2.
You're talking to a parent who is living in the United States.
I'm also living in the United States, and I have been through that system, and so have my cousins and other people who are here that I know of. That's why I had to ask you again, Uti, vakaita O-level, vakapasa and they.
No, my sister, my children, they are in university right now. You don't need an A-level. You don't need to have an A-level certificate to get American university. I
understand that. However, if the difference is that if you start off with your A-level certificate, O-level certificate, you don't start at the same level in university.
You can get credits for those subjects that you did at A-level. Just a few credits. It will be maybe if you did chemistry, physics, and maths, they will give you 3 credits for those subjects.
University, some of them.
Hold on a second. It is very interesting. A lot of people are now talking. No, hang on a minute, guys. A lot of people are now talking. This one is saying that sister is very correct. I am adjunct lecturer. And someone is saying that once upon a time, a lot of Zimbabweans came to the UK to do nursing. And those who came with Cambridge, those who did Cambridge, were drafted straight in. But those who did ZIMSEC were denied.
Had to do extra courses.
Had to do extra courses for them to be admitted.
UK, any nurse who comes from Zimbabwe will have to go through an adaptation of 6 months. That's it.
No, Sekuru. We are talking about someone who wants to join the course and has got all levels, English, Maths, and Science, but one has got Cambridge and one has got ZIMSEC. The one who has got ZIMSEC, we have to go through a different route.
How come my daughter, let me ask you, how come my daughter did O levels at Moleli High School and then came here and went straight into A levels here, AS level? What?
No,
akaita A level from akabane O level certificate ZIMSEC ku Zimbabwe kumoleli asati atomboikolekta nazvino achibva achiita A level here.
That's
Sekuru, she didn't do ZIMSEC. They do O level Cambridge syllabus.
Where?
Not ZIMSEC.
Where?
Sekuru,
DJ. I'm asking you to urutaura kumoleri reka kuti urutaura kune chimwe chikuru, because this is my daughter I'm talking about.
I've also met students who have been at Moleli. Moleli students could write O level Cambridge or ZIMSEC. They had that choice.
Yeah.
So are you telling
because they cover the whole syllabus.
Are you telling me Saka, are you telling me kuti this is kuti mwana wangu akanyora ZIMSEC reka kuti
she can write ZIMSEC.
Principal pamoleri ifriend yangu ndotozivana naye saka ndichafunda ndomufainda kuti what's going on pachikoro pako apa chakwara.
DJ, can I just say something there?
Yes, sir.
No. DJ, can I explain something there?
Problem. Zvasiyana nezvachawa na DJ Sodza. DJ Sodza ari kuti kana vanhu vachiuya kuzoita nesi kana kuAmerica zvakutaura kuti kana ukauya uine O level A level Cambridge automatically unowana kupinda munursing.
Yes.
But ukauya uine ZIMSEC you take another route. Zvakasiyana nezvamuri kutaura Sekuru zvekuti unobva ku O level uchienda ku A level.
Yeah, it's different.
Only that you are talking different things.
Right. Mukoma Wilbert.
Nursing zvacho, my wife here is a nurse. Akauya ane madiploma matatu enursing kubva kuparenya twane kuHarare hospital.
You see, Sekuru muri kurasika kana. Sekuru muri kurasika, your wife trained to be a nurse in Zimbabwe. Yes, your wife trained in Zimbabwe. We are talking of someone who wants to go to school here.
DJ, can I explain sim science on my O level?
Okay. Okay, Mkoma Wilbert.
Sekuru mungangodai makurivhila too much information. Muri kuti ambuya vakauya vaine 3 madiplomas esame course.
No, nursing kune inonzi community nursing, kunzi general nursing, kune community nursing, maternity.
Oh, okay. Ndandati ningi 3 diplomas general nursing ndikati
no
too much.
No, ndiri kukutaurira kuti vakauya vane 3 diplomas nursing, community nursing, maternity and general nursing.
Yeah.
Nasi moyo Boya.
No.
Aiwa Mukanya chimbomirai kani. Chimbomirai chimbotaurirwa na Mukoma Wilbert. Mukoma Wilbert, you want to say something very important there.
Zimsec was introduced particularly to those upper top, where they didn't have the facilities. I had a cousin who was in one of the upper top, where you find their science had been diluted. It's not the same science syllabus that you do in Cambridge and write the Cambridge exam, because they didn't have the facilities. So you find their science was definitely diluted. So Zim science, that has been one of its problems. The syllabus had been so diluted to the point where I interviewed some of the ZimSec students. They will say they finished all levels, and you ask them, Kuti, what is Pythagoras theorem? In fact, that is the level we are dealing with here.
But
we've seen better things. We've been to it all. Zimnet Radio all the
way. Science, kana kutoita physics and chemistry, kana kutoita biology.
That is but the syllabus.
Yes. Make the world know about your business. Advertise with Zimnet Radio. Email marketing@zimnetradio.com.
Unfortunately, masangana mega ipapa, because you are talking of science really diluted, and then you are talking of Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem is science.
It was just an example, Kanakuma.
The history, avakuza history education those kunetsa vasosi vangwava zvakaitika ka. It was a process of indigenizing the curriculum. Apana dilution yakamboitikwa paya. Oh, the problem yanga kuti isusu. Because kare my exams essay O level and A level I administered in Cambridge in collaboration with the ministry was in Singapore, something like that. Saka ndova kanga vachi administer. Saka it was just a process yakatangwa ne government of trying to localize the examination so that it reflects all the local content. And
no, it was not to reflect the local content. It was to reduce my costs of paying in forex.
Yeah. But also to reflect also the local content, but also my costs that Sekuruva right up. But it was also good because science is science.
Yeah, Saka, I mean, you can see here the ZimSec was not introduced for anything, for any reason. It's the National Exam Board. It replaced Cambridge, which was colonialist.
Yes, that's all.
Replaced Cambridge, but it's the national board.
I would yes, it replaced, but I would say Yakango offer as a new
offer. That's the accepted board of education. That's our standard board.
But people can still write Cambridge even before
if they want.
Yeah, do you not even go Cambridge or Oxford? There were also other my examination and degree boards. I told you Zimbabwe even during time colonialism apart from Cambridge.
I know that, but the issue was they recognized this examination board for all level was Cambridge.
Yeah.
Then it was changed to ZimSec. Now it's ZimSec. That's the recognized board.
Yeah.
Right, what I wanted to say is ZimSec, Akaita ZimSec, go through this process. It is only a matter of a system recognizing another system. So if the system in the US, in the UK, does not recognize the ZimSec, not because it's inferior, but simply because maybe the ZimSec has not been accredited to it. Because of that, they may say this is a separate system and therefore people have to go through this. But it's not a reflection of inferiority. It's not. And what may be happening in the UK or what may be happening in the US is not standard everywhere. Here in Australia, for as long as somebody is coming to do a study, they have a 6-month period where you actually are prepared for that course. And that is regardless of your background, whether wakabva kupi and wakaita study ipi, ukauya wakabata degree ipi, ukauya wakabata certificate ipi, even ukauya nebirth certificate chete sevamwewo vatinoziva vasingazoda kuti vari mazita. You still go through the same 6-month period, and at the end of which then you start your whatever course that you want to do. So it simply depends on the way a particular system is run, but it's not a reflection of your own background, because what happens here, it does not recognize whether it is O-level, whether it is Cambridge, whether it is ZIMSEC, or whether it is from Sekuru College or whatever. They don't recognize that. But for as long as you are coming from outside the system, you have to go through the 6 months. So it's a matter of how the system itself is run and how it recognizes other systems as well. But to say that ZIMSEC is inferior, I mean...
Murutadza point yakaitaura na DJ Sodza vakachiti Cambridge neZIMSEC, these are all my systems asiri ku-states handedika, but when both of them uyane O-level Cambridge uyane O-level ZIMSEC, uyane O-level Cambridge anga achipuwa better preference.
Yes.
Saka uyane ZIMSEC anga achizopuwa an extra route yekufamba nayo. So the question is, yamungangoita argue ndeyekuti maybe ZIMSEC haisati yaitwa accredited. I can understand that there has to be a negotiation inoitwa between maybe board yeku Zimbabwe ne board yeku states, but also states, I think the problem there kuti kune each state inofana kunge ine system dzayo, just like muno Canada each province ine system dzayo.
Okay, now this is what happens here. If you bring your child with an O-level qualification, and I'm reading here, this is Dickinson State University, International Student Admission Procedures. All you need to do to bridge that gap is for the child to write what they call a TOEFL exam or an SAT exam. And these, they can even write them. My child wrote these when he was home at the US Embassy. And straight from there, he got into an American university, Dickinson State University, which is also the university that I went into when I came here. Of course, I already had a higher qualification, so I didn't have to go through all this. But I understand the system because I was in that college, and my son is at that college. All he had to do to be at par with the students here was to write that TOEFL and the SAT. But otherwise, when it comes to classes, he takes the same classes. He's doing his generals now, just like everyone else. So
that's what I meant, Baguti. If Inini, when I came over here, I had my Cambridge certificate. I didn't have to take the TOEFL. Although I could have taken it, I didn't have to take it because they automatically put me into college level classes. But I have a friend of mine, Angaine Zimsek, not only did she have to take the TOEFL for just TOEFL was just for her to be placed, to be accepted into the university. But after she got into the university, she had to take my elementary English and math classes for her to start taking my college level classes. So that's what I was talking about, but difference credibility.
Yes, I know why they did that. The reason why they did that may be that your friend had weak passes in maths and English. They do that, and I've seen them doing that because you have to send your certificate, your O-level certificate for accreditation, for evaluation, so they can recommend that you go through that bridging class for English or maths. But my son didn't have to do all that. He just did his TOEFL and SATs while he was in Zimbabwe, and now he's doing his second year here, and he's doing very well.
Okay, all right, okay.
So even though he had English at O-level,
yes.
Yeah. Just the other thing I wanted to add, there's a good Kanavachiti, you go through this exam, it means it's just a mere fact the system has not been accredited into theirs. Otherwise, if it was a matter of credibility, they could simply reject, but I know you did this and therefore we are not taking you. And in that case, then we will be talking of credibility. But if they say, no, just go through this exam, it means that system where this person is coming from is credible. If it was not credible, they will simply reject the student, and they have all the powers to do that. So the fact that they accepted them, but they simply say, okay, just go through this, it means they understand and they believe in the authenticity of the program that this person is coming from. They believe in it as well. That's why they accept them to go through.
Okay. Sally, are you still there?
Konya yedu yekuti private school yatataura nayo iyi yekuti
private school ndati it's only a prestige and a symbol. It's a status symbol. Not that it has anything to achieve there. Apana, there's nothing there. It's just a status symbol. So they are paying money simply because they can afford it. So kanavaka raise go yes. So be it, because they are paying because they can afford, not because it's absolutely necessary. No.
Okay, all right.
I'm here,
Sally?
DJ Sodza.
Yes, Sally, are you still there?
I'm here.
Yeah. What did you make of these bundles, the internet that Echonet wanted to put in? And now we are told that Manduanzira has come out and say that it has been stopped. What a mess we are having there.
But it's like when Chinamasa comes out with the budget, okay? 2 or 3 days later, Mugabe annihilates the budget. So,
say it's rubbish.
So I mean, Echonet wanting to raise the prices, okay, and then the government saying no way. I mean, it's not unnatural.
But Sally, from I mean, I'm a novice in all these things. I always thought maybe these guys, if you are running your business and you are selling a loaf of bread, you should determine how much that bread should cost, isn't it?
Yeah, in the normal world, yes. Okay.
Yeah, where is the government coming in here?
But those things have been controlled not only in Zimbabwe, they are controlled all over the world.
Are you telling me, Mukanya, that your internet there, your internet providers there, they are controlled by the government?
Yes, we have a Canadian board, control those immigrant thing, secret. Yeah, here in Canada there is a board which controls price control for the internet and the television, all those kind of systems. And you have to apply to that board for you to raise the money that you need.
It doesn't work like that in South Africa.
So why do we have different prices? Let's say Sekuru, Vodafone is charging me £30, T-Mobile is saying £20, and EE is saying £15. Why do we have that variation? If the government can say...
You know something?
Huh?
Your variation is going to come from where the mobile company is getting their data from, okay? And something that I found out when I was living in Europe, okay? Just because a mobile data thing or whatever, a mobile bundle, okay, is cheaper, doesn't mean that it's good. What I found was you stayed away from, they called it over there TMN, okay? We call it here MTN, okay? You stayed away from them, and then they had another one that was equivalent to our Cell C, which is sort of a button rate, and you stayed away from them and you went for the middle ones. Because the cheaper your mobile bundle is, when you go to use that data, even your phone calls, okay, would drop if there was too many users online, okay, your data wouldn't even feature and stuff like that. So now here in South Africa, okay, they're supposed to have a thing called ICASA, I don't know what it's there for, because it doesn't matter what they say, the mobile and internet operators do as they want. Okay? And I have gone what I call private, which means it's not, Telkom has the monopoly in South Africa. It is the only telephone, whatever you want to call it. There are other ones, but they're not that brilliant, and they don't really feature that much, okay? Telkom is your main one. It provides all the internet data to every single company, internet company, any other telephone company that might open, okay? It all comes through Telkom, okay? So your private companies, or your non-Telkom companies, if you want to call it that, their prices can go, they can go sky high, and others go rock bottom, okay, for the same data bundles. In your internet, in your mobile. Well, mobile, we've only really got 3 operators, okay? And I don't know why they're putting their mobile data up in Zimbabwe, because ours is going down. Okay, so I don't know quite how they're working that out. And also, in a country where the majority of your people are unemployed, surely it makes sense to make your data bundles available to more people, okay, so that you have a bigger coverage, okay? So putting it up in a country where the majority of the people are unemployed makes it kind of unreachable, and then you just have the select few that can afford it. I don't understand that. That to me is backward economics.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So I don't quite understand where that's coming from, but I'm glad that government stepped in.
From a marketing point of view, a company has got the choice of a target market.
Yeah.
If you want to target the upper market and work smarter, you increase your prices. And
but Sekuru, you increase certain prices.
No.
So, yes, so that you have a staged entry level, or whatever you want to say. You've got staged clientele.
No,
that's what they do here.
It's not the pricing policy theory. Is that if you want to charge a market leadership prices, and you want to be an innovator, you charge prices by innovating products, and then you charge for that as at a premium. When everybody else catches up with you, you will have innovated a new program, so a new innovative product, so that you continue creaming, and whoever is following you will then give you the bulk of the people you share with them. But the cream, let me tell you, this is marketing. This is
yes,
marketing.
Sekuru, I understand that, but in Africa, where so many people are unemployed, okay, it doesn't make sense to
but if a company doesn't want, if a company doesn't want you at the cost of administration for the poor who are in bulk, because what you are doing when you sell to the lower market is you are earning money from higher turnover as opposed to from higher pricing. So you choose which one you want to do. If you want to a lean structure to administer your company, you go for the creaming prices, so that you sell only to a few select, you incur less administrative cost, and then you use the other profits to innovate products and become a market leader.
Yeah, but it's
and the other problem that we have in Africa is that companies are not sensitive to the plight of the people they serve. And when we look at companies like mobile providers, they are not looking at the employment rate of a nation. They are simply looking at themselves to to say this year how much money did we make, and if we increase this by 5%, how much more are we going to make? So they're only concerned about their profit. The companies are not concerned about
but that's
people
a company
whatsoever.
Worldwide. It's not just in Africa.
What you are forgetting in Zimbabwe is that the PTC, Posetinochera, is the company that should provide the infrastructure, the fiber network, and they rent it out to other providers. But what has been happening is that Echonet has been leading in that, in introducing fiber optic for the purposes of introducing broadband. And therefore, they are incurring expenses that are supposed to be incurred by the state from taxation. And as a result, they wanted to pass those costs to their consumers who are in the upper market for all intents and purposes. Now, what they did wrong was to go and approach potters to influence the cartel or the oligopoly of service providers into creaming prices, and then the others pulled out of the deal when it was on implementation stage. We have got minutes here, which shows that it was Echonet which suggested the charges that have been implemented. That's why they've been reversed.
I want to agree with Amoy again, Botauro. I want to agree with Sekuru there. I know Strive Masiwa is the darling of people of Zimbabwe, but in this case, he just showed us that he's a typical capitalist who doesn't even think much about the people that he's serving. He's in there to make profit. I mean, there is evidence that they set down Echonet, Telecel, and Net1 and agreed to increase their prices. And Masiwa was the first one to come out of the blocks with very high prices against Potra's floor rate of 0.02, which is just 2 cents. This is what Potra's had recommended. But Masiwa and Echonet went on to increase the prices to 0.10 per megabyte, which is 5 times more than what Potra's had recommended. You could see that he was doing this for profit. And at the end of the day, we know definitely the people were going to attack the government. But there is all. Okay, ndanda kutaura nyaya yema-citizen movement kuti there is a citizen movement iyo inonzi disflagi. It was encouraging people to leave Echonet and go and join Telecel and Net1. And the reason they were saying was these are government-owned organizations. And us as citizens, we have shares in them, we have an interest in them, so we are promoting our government by so doing. So my question is, why would this flag of all the organizations encourage citizens to go and promote a government that has been so brutal, that took away our jobs, that is killing people, that has destroyed our education, that has destroyed everything, including our dignity? Why would I want to go and support that government? So it brings us back to what we were discussing 2 weeks ago when I was saying that some of these citizen movements are actually, supporting one of the factions in ZANU-PF. And it's coming out clear right now. Why would this flag tell us to go?
Not necessarily. I will tell you why. Because the only alternative that is there for the people who are disadvantaged by the charges or who are unable to access the charges or to meet the charges imposed by Echonet The only alternative they have is either Telecel or Net1. So when you are talking about price consumerism, you then point the people in the direction of where else they can get the alternative or the substitute for the product that they can no longer afford. The reason I don't agree with that they said it's because of your government and whatever. The reason is purely consumerism. You have to take the alternative that is there, and the only that is there. That is my point.
Okay, right.
Do they have regulatory? Do they have like regulatory boards in Zimbabwe that regulate these prices? Like over here, they have the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, and these guys are able to actually regulate these things and actually give these companies penalties. So, do they have that in Zimbabwe?
Yes, they've got Potras.
Can I read something here from Potras that was announced 6 days ago to do with this thing? Recently, it was announced that Zimbabwe's telecoms regulator, Potras, would be putting into effect a floor price on voice tariffs and data bundles with effect from the 9th of January. Under the new pricing guidelines, voice tariffs will be set at a minimum of 12 cents per minute, while data for all bundles will be priced at 2 cents a megabyte.
Yeah, but
So
that is
Yeah.
not what has happened. But that is from the minutes that they agreed with the service providers. It's exactly what they agreed. But then they agreed on 5 pence, not on 2 pence per minute for data. Yeah. So what then happened is Echonet then started charging 10 pence for data, and the 10 pence they averaged everything, and then they said everything is now 10 pence per minute, per megabyte.
Yeah.
And that is where the outcry is coming. Instead of charging,
of course,
in average 10 pence.
Of course.
Okay.
And in so doing, they were now creaming. From the unsuspecting consumer, because what the consumer could buy for 2 pence, he was paying 10 pence. What the consumer could buy for 12 pence, he was paying 10 pence. So he was losing. He was benefiting 2 pence on the upper end, and losing 8 pence on the lower end. Who was benefiting there?
Of course, the provider.
Yeah, that's why they complained. That's why the ministry has been forced to stop the charges and they revert back to the old charges, because that Potras thing, they don't quite understand the costs involved in providing the service. Is the company?
No, they don't.
Now the service providers have got different expenses depending on how they operate their inefficiencies and their efficiencies. So
but not only that, Sekuru, don't forget it's where they obtain their data from, okay, and how much it's costing them. All right.
The issue is that the data is obtained by Potras. The data availability is made available by the Potras, because that's the regulatory authority through the PTC or the telecommunications.
Pamusoro Sekuru.
Yes.
Vakuru vakatika zvinonaka zvinoregwa zvichanaka. Handitika. Kwanziko. Kangoma kanonakidza kachiri kuridzwa kudai kakazonyanya kupfumbira stereki kane kashata.
EJ.
Yes.
EJ, could I give Zimbabweans a solution to this whole Ningirikini? If the prices don't go down, there are actually some Zimbabweans who have done their calculations, and they've seen that it would be better for them to purchase a line from Cell C or Vodacom in South Africa and come to Zimbabwe and be on roaming. They actually discovered that it would be way cheaper than this.
Hang on there, Trish.
This is another hour now we are talking here.
That. Yeah, no, we tried that, okay? And we found out, all right, that Vodacom and MTN were the best for roaming. Cell C is rotten, okay? The coverage is very bad, and it is expensive. It worked out that we were paying more, okay, for the roaming in Zimbabwe than what we would have paid if we'd got an Echonet or whichever one it is, okay?
How did you do that, sir?
So, no, because what we did was we bought my sister, because there was a stage when she was really battling with her mobile thing, okay? And so I bought her, we tried all the things. I ended up getting her a Vodacom thingamajig, okay? And we wanted to see for a month for roaming from South Africa, from Masingo to, because she'd have to use roaming, okay? Once
so that's fine. Yeah, and it was too expensive.
It was way too expensive.
Are you saying compared to the prices?
Are you saying it was way more expensive than what they charge, than what the hikes are now, like the tariffs?
No, not the tariffs now. I'm talking about a year ago. Okay, we tried this, and then we found out that it was better to just get a Zimbabwean mobile SIM card, okay, and then just get her money to charge it when she needs it. You know, if she needs the money. I mean,
because I assume that back then they still had those bundles, those very cheap bundles and everything. I'm referring to right now.
Roaming is disgusting. It is disgusting. The prices are unbelievable. With Vodacom on roaming in Zimbabwe, okay, it was costing us 4 times the price, the normal price.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
okay. Chief Sodza, Chief Sodza, what did you want to say then?
Yeah, I just want to take this opportunity to thank the many Zimbabwean teachers who are teaching in government and missionary schools. I know there are teachers out there who are going an extra mile, teaching over weekends, some cutting short their holidays, and some working over weekends to ensure that their children pass. I know the Form 4 teachers, the Grade 7 teachers, they really go an extra mile, and they do it not for the money that they are getting, but for their personal glory. Teacher Ningo Grade 7 anopasisa vana. He does that by working extra hard, working overtime that is not paid for. So I want to thank all those teachers, Kumaruzeva, Mtaundi, wherever they are, and to just say, let's keep on working hard. One day there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you.
All right.
I have the greatest respect and the greatest admiration for Zimbabwean teachers. I tell you something, especially the ones that are doing it in like the high density suburbs and the rural areas. That to me is, the majority of them is pure dedication and nothing more, because the money that's involved in it is peanuts, absolute peanuts.
Okay. Thank you.
And my hat goes off to them, and I thank them for everything that they do, fighting the odds daily. Okay, so my greatest respect, my